Mr. Trudeau, thank you so much for being here.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes. Well, now you have spent your years unearthing data and bringing it out to such a manner that it is a forerunner to some of the ills of society that we have witnessed, and that has to do, of course, with some of these anti-hyper drugs, the Ritalin and all of these psychotropic drugs that are out there going into our children. What started you on this path of writing some of these best-selling books for yourself?
Well, I was introduced to a secret society called the Brotherhood back in the 70s. And I was brought into that group and trained on very specific things. And because of my association in the Brotherhood, I was given access to some of the wealthiest people in the world. I was given connections, and I was given deals, if you will, in order to generate wealth. That's how secret societies work, whether it's Skull and Bones, whether it's Bilderberg Group, whether it's Bohemian Club, or Trilateral Commission or Council on Foreign Relations. All these societies which do work around the world, and there are many more in Asia and South America as well. They basically do two things. They give people access to secret information, inside information, and information about future events that's going to happen. So you have massive advantages over the general population. And the second thing is, once you're a member at a higher level, your ability to keep secrets is now confirmed, and you're given access to opportunities that nobody else gets access to. And that allowed me to generate billions of dollars in business in a very short period of time. In 1989, I decided to blow the whistle on something that the U.S. government was doing, and that was taking phonics out of the school system, dumbing the kids down, and putting Ritalin or other type of ADD-type drugs and psychiatric prescribed medication into the school system, and actually incentivizing the schools to get as many kids on Ritalin and other drugs as possible, giving them a financial incentive. They paid the school $500 per month back then to get kids on Ritalin. And I was going to expose this in my program, Mega Memory. When I did, my senior officials, if you will, in the Brotherhood were not very happy with that. And I got a severe reprimand. And this kind of put me on a very challenged path, because I thought I was doing good for society, and I realized that the group I was a part of was not doing good for society at all. They were doing good for themselves. And I was a member of that, so I was doing good for myself as well. And I became really challenged in terms of which way to go. Do I continue to just benefit and reap the rewards of my association and involvement in that secret society, or do I take a different path? And it took me 10 years. In 1999, I was traveling in Australia with President Gorbachev and General Schwarzkopf and some other very powerful people. And I decided to leave the Brotherhood. It took me 10 years to make this decision. I knew that no one has ever left that secret society. I knew what the repercussions were going to be. They were going to be massive, severe, and swift. But I made the decision after consultation with those two gentlemen, and actually after consultations with around 30 other members of Bilderberg and Skull and Bones and others that were also in my camp. But they couldn't leave. Their families would be ruined, their lives would be ruined if they left. So I decided to leave, and in the year 2000, we all met in Istanbul, Turkey, and decided that the best way to do this was to set up a new society, if you will, a new organization, global, called the Global Information Network. And myself being at the highest level in the Brotherhood, and these 30-plus other members of these other societies decided to take the information that we knew and would continue to have access to, and now release it to the general population, members of the Global Information Network, and allow them to have the same inside information, the information on current events and future events that would empower them, and release to these normal people, if you will, the secrets. And that's how the Global Information Network started. We've just launched this actually in the last couple of months. We now have thousands and thousands of people all around the world that have joined. And the other advantage is what we've done is these very powerful billionaires and members of royalty and so forth, we're setting up a multi-billion-dollar endowment fund for the Global Information Network to give its members access to money, credit, investment capital, grants, loans, financing that they would never have access to. But this is the type of stuff that I've had access to my whole life. If I needed financing, I didn't have to beg a bank. I just called up another member of the Brotherhood, and the deal was done. That's how deals happen at the highest levels. And so now we're off doing this in terms of trying to help society globally. And we're having some amazing success already in just the first few months. Members have already earned several $100,000 by having access to, insider information, if you will.
So, but in that you came from organizations that their main focus was money, and you saw what happens to that, why is this new organization still thinking about money?
Well, the main focus of those groups really is not money. The main focus is control. And there's a big significant difference.
Money helps
Money helps, but it's really not it. J. Paul Getty, I was talking to him before he died. J. Paul Getty said it's not how much money you have. It's not your net worth that's really relevant. It's how much money you control that really makes the difference. If you look at, for example, the Forbes 400 list, or the list that lists the richest people in the world,
right.
The richest people in the world are not on that list. You don't know who they are.
True.
I remember a friend of mine. He was selling a hotel in Paris, and he sold this for $350 million. And he called me up, and I said, "Hey, how did your deal go with the hotel?" He says, "Oh, we sold it for a cash deal. It was a really quick closing." I said, "Who bought it?" He goes, "You're not going to believe it." He says, "This guy from Egypt called me. He said he wanted to buy it, and he wrote the check for $350 million." I go, "Who was he?" He goes, "Nobody knows who this guy is. Nobody knows his family name. Nobody knows what type of businesses he's involved with. He's like off the radar. He's completely, nobody knows who he is." And I said to him, "Well, I can guarantee it's not his last $350 million bucks." And so the people that really have money and really have access to money via hedge funds and endowment funds and so forth, people that control the money, and I've been around them most of my life, you'll never know their names.
Yes.
They're never listed. So it's really control as opposed to money. So Global Information Network understands something. People are slaves if they're in debt and if they have to go to a job to earn a living. The only way a person can really get out of, that slavery is to become financially independent. So by wiping out and becoming debt-free and having multiple streams of income from various sources, you don't have to be a billionaire. But for really to empower people, they need to have freedom from going out every day and earning money. And that allows a person to do a lot more with their life and create, we believe, a better society.
So, of course, individuals would be saying, after so much time hobnobbing, and you see where we're at, we're in a situation of collapse and entropy. Why does it take so long for this why did it take so long for people within your circles to reach out? Is it because you were hurt by this too and it woke you up, or and not you, darling, but you in the bigger sense?
Yeah, it's hard. It's not hard to imagine, but I'll give you the example. Let's assume that Fox News called you up and said, "We want to give you a contract and pay you $10 million a year. You're going to become a celebrity, which means you can go to any event you want in the world, get front row seats, get into the best restaurants. We're going to travel you around first class at corporate expense. We're going to pay you $10 million a year. We're going to help you write books, and since Fox News owns HarperCollins, we'll make sure these books are all bestsellers. You'll become a celebrity. You'll become well-known. You'll become powerful, influential, and you'll become and have an incredible lifestyle." And then you say, "Yes, but I want to blow the whistle on some of the corruption that's going on." And Fox News says, "If you do that, we're going to cancel your contract. We're going to stop all your book sales. We're going to ruin you in the media. We're going to ruin your family in the media. You're going to have a horrible life." No one wants to give up what they got. So the reason why it's taken so long for somebody to actually become forward is once you get in there, you basically say, "You know something? I'm not going to give up what I have." And so that's why it's been up until now that no one has really left any of these organizations. There's not been a single person who's ever revealed the secret of Skull and Bones.